I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out. What's in my head? I'm feeling a little peculiar.
I'm interviewing one of my most fascinating people, Michele Simms. Josh, can you put a laugh track in there for me for that? Thank you. How are you doing in LA?
Everything is wonderful.
Good, huh? That's the right attitude.
Easy cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's okay.
Turn it off like a light bulb. Something from Book of Mormon. I want to talk about you. So you, Florida, pretty much Florida based, right? Like
Baltimore. Yeah. And then we moved to Florida when I was 2. Grew up in Sarasota.
When you were a kid, I always like to find out, when was the first time you knew that you wanted to perform?
I would, in the cafeteria, there was a stage, and they would leave the mic hot because the teachers would make announcements.
Hot means it's on. That means it's on. That means it's on. That's some industry talk right there.
The biz hot mic. And so they'd leave it on, and I would go up and sing Could Have Been by Tiffany. And they let me sing the whole song.
The whole song?
The whole song a cappella by myself. That was like 5th grade. Yeah,
okay,
like,
what did they do afterwards?
10.
Did they
told me to go back to my seat?
Okay,
like, thank you. Like, okay. I think there was like mild applause because they felt obligated.
When you heard that smattering, you're like, this is it for me.
Yes. So I knew I wanted to be on stage.
Because what kind of person were you at that age? Were you outspoken, popular? Were you weird?
No, I was weird, and I'd get made fun of. And
yeah. You didn't think you were when other people thought you were?
I don't think so. I think I was just really depressed when I was little.
So that's why I was surprised that you got up in 5th grade, which is a time before 6th grade, if people don't know that numerically, where it's hard because you're going, and then you just jumped up there and did it.
I just felt like it for whatever reason.
But I think I used my voice in order to get acceptance in a lot of the schools I was in. When they heard me sing, they would be like, she is a freak, but she can sing.
So my parents put me into beauty pageants around that time.
Were you okay with it? You liked it?
No.
Okay,
I didn't resist it, but I did not really enjoy it.
Why? I mean, did they throw sugar in your face and make you eat it?
No, actually, my mom didn't turn into one of those monster mothers. Thank God.
We should be in the audience.
The only thing I ever won was photogenic, the most photogenic.
I feel like that is probably one of the most important things to be when you're a pageant person. But then again, people put flipper teeth in their kids' mouths. And
Vaseline on their teeth.
Did you have to do that?
No, I didn't do that. I didn't do any of that weird stuff. Some of the judges were quasi-famous.
Oh my God, who? I love this.
Burt Reynolds stand-in.
Oh my God.
I have a picture with Burt Reynolds stand-in somewhere.
That's not framed.
It's in a photo book. I'll have to see if I can find it.
Were you totally like, oh my God, Burt Reynolds stand-in?
I think I was confused.
Yeah, I think he was too.
I remember trying to get into modeling, back to school runway shows in the malls.
Oh God, yeah.
Those kind of thing. I did that for a while. That was terrible. And I remember going to Susie's International School of Models in Sarasota when I was about
Susie's.
14. Yeah, it's SUZI
Okay.
with a Z.
With one of the oblongs. I don't know.
With a Z.
All right. So you tried to do that little runway scam over there. Cool.
John
And
Casablancas.
hey,
I did that.
yeah, he's still around.
Oh.
But you loved theater. You liked the audience and talking to you, and not talking to you, but I love when they talk to me when I'm in a show. I'm like, you're in a theater production here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, a monologue isn't good unless somebody's going to respond to you. Like, who am I talking to here? Is anybody listening?
I am you. All right. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get on track here. You got done with school. Were you a good student?
I was okay. I had like a B average, but I almost didn't graduate because of algebra 2.
Whoa, you got that far in algebra?
Yeah. No. I'm sorry, algebra 1. I was getting.
Yeah.
I was trying to make myself look smarter than I am.
I was in business math because I would get not locked in a closet, but I would be because of a severe attention deficit disorder that was just not taken care of. He put me in a closet. He had like cheerleaders.
What the fuck?
He had cheerleaders that would come in and sit on the desk, and this was a long time ago. Remember? I mean, I'm an old lady.
Oh.
I talked to my friend about it. She goes, "It happened more than once. I would go visit you in there sometimes." I'm like, "What?" They're the big closets. It wasn't like a tiny one. It was big enough for a desk.
Oh my God.
But and people get mad at me when I say stuff about Florida public schools. But back then, it was like there was no grading, there was no testing. We were dum-dums running around, and the teachers were just as dumb. Let's get past that. Okay, it's not about me. So, you did shows in high school?
I joined Drama Guild in my senior year of high school. I was really intimidated by the drama teacher. His name was Milton Bradley.
It's like
like the board game. You know, we're going to do a character exercise. We're going to play Clue. But he was very disciplined, and I found him very intimidating. But he wanted to do a one-act called Dope for a competition like the Thespian Festival. He put me in the lead role. It was originally written for a guy, but then he changed it because he wanted to see me in it.
So you did Dope.
In high school, I did Dope.
And did it work? And did you place at Thespians or
it didn't
translate
right? Yeah, it was a weird dynamic when you changed it to a female, so he ended up like going with a male.
Yeah,
but that was kind of cool that he was willing to do that.
Yeah.
And then like later towards the end of the year, FSU film school students came into the class, and they were looking for a teenage girl to play a role in one of their student shorts. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in. And I remember being so jaded at 17, like I'd been in the business for a while.
Jeez.
And I remember having the thought that like, if I don't get this, I'm quitting. It's too much. It's too much for my 17-year-old mind.
Wow. What a hard career for you to be in with that sensitivity. So then did you move over to Orlando from there?
After high school, like I did a bunch of student films.
Oh,
Like
cool.
that one led to like a handful of others, and then I moved to Orlando with my mom because I made the big time. I was going to be a character at Walt Disney World.
Oh, which one?
I was friends with Chip and Dale.
Should I?
I went deep inside the chipmunk.
Okay. Did you do some dramaturgical work with it? Did you put things in your
Very
face?
much.
A lot of just really wanting to feel that character?
Mm-hmm. I put
Good.
a lot of nuts in my mouth.
Uh-huh.
I lasted 2 months. I would wake up at like 3 in the morning because you'd go and do these character breakfasts, and I'd wake up crying.
No.
I was so miserable, and like nobody was very friendly. It was awful.
Oof. Bless those people's hearts.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. They deserve so much more pay.
Where did you go after that didn't work out?
Universal Orlando. I was a spieler at King Kong. There's Confrontation, where you're on the tram and you have to evacuate Roosevelt Island. There's like explosions, and there's a big monkey that looks like he picks up the tram, even though his hand was like 2 feet away from the tram.
Mm-hmm. Well, he had magic powers.
Yeah.
You don't know what his backstory is. What was your schedule like when you did
you would do, if it was 15 minutes, you'd do 3 times around. If you were covering a lunch, you'd be on there 30 minutes, so it'd be 6 times around.
And you're talking the whole time? Going, oh no!
Everybody hold on. He's picking up the tram. Oh.
So what did you do after that?
Terror on Church Street.
Oh my God, I remember that place.
Yeah. I worked there the last 2 years it was open. It was so much fun.
Would you get to see the people when they would freak out? Because I think that's my favorite thing in the world. I don't know why. I get such joy.
It's hysterical. It is so funny. And people drop to the floor.
Why do people do that to themselves?
I don't know, but it's hysterical.
I wish this had survived, because I remember it was like popular. I mean, it was something people went to a lot, and it was great because it was literally in like haunted buildings and stuff. But what characters did you, like, what would you play in that?
They had like generic characters, like there was a morgue you would walk through, and then you would pop out as just like a crazy nurse or something. Like
those wackadoos. Oh, bless them.
There's zombies and Exorcist. The bed had hydraulics in it, so we would, between the hydraulics, and we would do like sit-ups, basically out of control sit-ups.
Yeah, they didn't have the copyright on anything by Exorcist, probably, I guess. Is what
no, like even Hannibal Lecter was like man in cage or something like that.
They didn't call him Manable Hector.
Manable Nectar. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Manable Nectar.
Oh my God, that's just so funny. Just picture like a generic Manable Lecter, just saying, I ate your beans.
I hate your beans.
With a rosé chablis. I mean, did you put that on your resume?
Yeah. For a while, I did have it there. I was like 20.
No, I'm not judging. I mean,
don't judge.
I'd never. No.
I
didn't go to school for that.
I didn't have trouble making friends there. Like,
yeah, you found your people
there. Yeah, in Confrontation, I had a lot of friends too.
And where'd you head to next in the capital?
After that, I worked at the Titanic exhibit for a while.
Oh, good. One time I did it for somebody that got a real good gig on a New Year's Eve thing, and I think I was open, and she's like, please, I'll pay you, whatever. I'm like, whatever, don't worry about it. And it was scary. Like I didn't know enough about the Titanic.
Yeah, you have to do all this research and just write the tour yourself.
Ugh.
It was crazy. Like, I had no idea what I was getting into.
I was like,
And I
does somebody
think
have
if
a
I
pen yet?
had, I probably wouldn't have done it. Like, oh no, that sounds really intimidating. But
Yeah.
it was kind of cool because I learned a lot. I don't know how much I remember now, but
I mean, we've been lucky to have places like Chair or Treat Street. And then, did you ever do Skull Kingdom? Because that was close by. The
no,
Titanic, did you just do the whole?
no.
No, that
It was a
was.
haunted house with track lighting on the walkway.
I remember. Did you do that in tandem with anything else, like we have to do in order to survive and eat?
That's when I started working at Sleuth's Murder Mystery Theater.
Sleuths, as it's known in the industry.
Sleuth.
That's where I met you, I think. Yes, it was.
That's where we met.
I can't believe what I walked into when I met you. It was basically you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's your camera. It was basically you with like black panties on, and you didn't have a top on, and I think you were farting on people. And
yeah, that sounds right.
I was like, I want this freedom. I need to know this person. What is that like to feel that free?
I can't believe I have done some stupid shit that I probably should have been fired for.
You did like a bunch of roles there. I love Laurel because I think she's the only person that would put me in like ingenue roles. I'm like, girl, what? I can't play. I mean, I don't. Let me have the funny one. I did about 13 roles there. How many did you do? About that same?
About the same, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where I learned a lot about improv stuff. That's a lot of making things up. You know what I learned there?
That's the first time I really got to get into it,
Mm-hmm.
What'd you learn?
I learned that blondes get more laughter.
You think so?
Oh man, I know so. And even when I was on tour with Josh, when I was doing, Crossdresser for Christ and touring with him, the blonde wig got me more laughter than the redhead or the brunette. It was just like
I wonder what that is.
I got to play that ditzy, funny person with that hair, and it was like people feel like they're allowed to laugh at the dumb blonde, I think, and it was kind of.
I think maybe it's that it's so familiar.
Yeah, accepted.
An archetype.
I mean, you did Sleuth to supplement income, and then what did you do after that?
Well, when I left Titanic, I went to Universal Orlando. I did Poseidon's Fury, and I was a Marilyn for 4 years, which
oh my God, I remember that.
I loathed it.
I know you did. I remember.
But I was grateful for the job.
Yeah, I know. I just
Betty Rubble for a little bit.
It's hard to be in a contained character, I would imagine. Like that would be where I would have a struggle. And
I think that's why I hated it so much.
Yeah, because you're improv based person. What was like some of the stuff that happened when you were? I bet you came through. I bet a lot of things probably happened. Maybe I don't want to know.
A lot. Well, there was a big muscly dude who scooped me up like a baby and then put my legs over his shoulders so my knees were bent and I was hanging upside down.
Absolutely not.
And I just remember, I was trying to stay in character, but I was trying to let him know, I'm not fucking around. Put me down, rather than take your fucking hands off me.
Oh my God.
Put me down. But his wife loved it.
Oh, I bet.
She did. She took a picture, and I'm sure I look awful in it. I'm not like a busty girl.
Yeah.
But there was a woman one time. She. Now, I didn't hear her say this. Chris Pruitt heard her say it, and then he told me immediately. But she went, Marilyn had bigger titties than that. Hell, I got bigger titties than that.
And they did that in front of their children.
Oh, yeah. There's a dude that I'm surrounded. There's a semicircle of children, 5, 7, 8 years old. and this redneck dude, big burly guy, comes up and he goes, "Oh, I always wanted to fuck Marilyn."
What makes a person say that in front of children? And then how did he want you to respond back to that?
That's what I've always tried to figure out. Like, does he want me to do him?
Right here?
Right now? Oh, you did? Oh, let's go in the back, sugar. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Put me down. Put me down.
Put me down. I demand it.
I don't like this. And some fun stuff out there. We did the Villagers.
We did the Shrek Villagers. I did Little
favorite.
Red Riding Hood.
Oh my God,
when favorite. You were one of the stepsisters.
Oh my Lord. They let us have freedom to just do what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. It was actually better that we weren't branded characters, because they would have been sued or whatever, or J.K. Rowling would have come, or whoever the frick made Shrek, you know. I put my foot down on this. No, this is not happening. There's no. So what character choice did you do for your Red Riding Hood?
Red Riding Hood.
Was that it?
Was so stupid. Have you seen my grandma? She's very sick.
Oh, jeez. What crowd of people did you say that to?
Anybody and everybody.
While they were in that.
While they were in the queue, just walking up into the queue.
And so much fun.
Squeezing through the crowd looking for grandma, which now sounds terrifying, thinking about squeezing through a crowd like that.
Or saying she's very sick.
Or saying she's very sick.
It's going to be a whole new world. So we did that. And then, so you were there for a while at Universal.
Yeah, I was there for 8 years.
Wow.
And then I went to Disney street mow for 3 years.
You like that?
I loved it. That was my favorite job.
Was it?
Yeah.
Great people that you're working with.
Yeah.
Learning a lot.
And it was the first time I felt like I was doing something I was right for. Besides Little Red Riding Hood. But it was that freedom. You have the freedom to create a character, and that was one of the first times I felt like someone trusted me with something creative like that.
I remember you got hired as a sassy character, and I think I remember you felt like more comfortable being funny. Like I'm always been that way too. I've always been more comfortable being funny than pretty. And
I think that's why when they put me in Mimi Kaboom, which is like the green dress, sassy bombshell looking type of getup, and I was like, how can I muck this up? So it was oh, hello.
Oh, that's an interesting choice for her. I did not see that coming. All right.
Well, it was so stupid. It was like I did some stupid shit. Like my mother was German and my father was Japanese. I'm Germanese. It was so stupid.
And you got to do, after you did Me Become Boom, you switched into like a dork, right?
Yes. It was a girl off the bus character.
Did you create that?
Yeah. Her name is Betty Shambles.
Cool.
And the character is still in the park.
Wow. I bet you got
Heather Delmotte plays her now.
Oh, I love that woman. You created a character though. That's kind of what happens, I guess, sometimes, where you get to give that away.
It's the same shell of a character, but like, you know, whatever backstory she came up with. Like, I think she tap dances out on the street and stuff, and that's nothing that I did with it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, you know, it's her version.
You did the whole rounds here. You did film here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
when it
I
was
did.
we were allowed
We
to?
filmed Sex Drive.
Mm.
That was in 2008. I was the drunk Amish girl
God, you were so good in that.
for a hot second,
Yeah.
and then it was over. And I did Sunlight Junior, which with this
Yes.
scene, I had a scene with Matt Dillon that was cut.
Was it? I was gonna say I didn't
Unfortunately,
see that.
yeah.
I can't
It was a
remember.
librarian that
That's
flirts
right.
with Matt
That's
Dillon.
right. That's right. I
It was
remember that
so
side.
hard.
Yeah, but
I
I
had to flirt with him.
was he real? He wasn't there. I was a casting agent.
And Lori Collier is an amazing director. Like, she's really protective of the actors. Should I ask her about getting the scene that was cut? Would that be weird? That'd be weird. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk that in post.
Yeah.
So you've done the whole gamut, and then you trained here too. With who did you? Who
Yeah, I did. I didn't go to college. I
doesn't matter.
just started studying independently with different teachers like Russ Blackwell and Lauren O'Quinn Burns and Yvonne Suhor at Artsake.
You got you got the best of the best, didn't you?
They're amazing, like all of them.
Good.
And
That gives you a nice
like,
foundation, doesn't it?
yeah, and out here you've got Dennis Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's,
You want to be grounded,
yeah,
be where you need to be. That's actor to learn it from. That's awesome. And
yeah.
so after you studied and you did some film here, and the film industry dried up, unfortunately for us, and then you went to LA, made the decision. You did it.
Yeah, in 2013, we came out here, and I haven't booked much.
This is always a problem for actors.
Yeah,
Just
it's
where we can't ever
because
afford to have someone promote for us. We'll never be able to have a person that can do it and pay them the right amount of money. There's just something in us that don't like to be like, I'm
yeah,
awesome. Here.
I feel like anytime I write a cover letter and try to sell myself, it just doesn't sound genuine. Maybe it's like an imposter syndrome thing.
What is that?
This is where you, no matter what your qualifications are or how experienced you are, you just feel that you're not good.
Yay.
And you're like, I don't belong.
That's also called anxiety and
Yeah,
depression a little bit.
yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
Huh.
depression was hard. Like, there was a 2-month period where I worked at a Starbucks, and the job was so stressful, and trying to keep a roof over our head. And I would go to leave the house and I would just break down in tears. Like, it was just panic attack after panic attack. And that was also while I was going through Groundlings, which isn't like.
So what about that? So Groundlings, like do you have to audition to go to there?
You have to audition, and they place you either in like if you have absolutely no improv experience at all, they'll put you in like these workshops A and B.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the 3 levels of improv: beginner, intermediate, advanced. And then once you finish the 3 levels of improv, you're invited into the writing lab.
Ooh, you're invited.
And that's where they start grooming you for stage.
This is where a lot of SNL people get cast from.
Yeah.
You get into the writing, and you love the writing part of it.
I do now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't at first. My improv experience at Groundlings was amazing. The teachers can be harsh. They're kind of known for that. If you kind of just let it roll off your back, you're fine. And just go
and you take the note.
Yeah, take the note, take the lesson, get your money's worth of training, because it's really good training. It's all character-based improv, and it's fantastic. But when you get if you get invited into the writing lab, it changes a bit because they're grooming you for stage. Some people get more competitive. The teacher, in my experience, was not helpful. The teacher just ripped me to shreds. how to write in the Groundling style, which is completely premise free, all character based, and it's hard to nail it down, especially if it's like one of the first writing classes you've ever taken in your life.
So they didn't teach you how to become better at that?
Not in my experience with this teacher. I think there are some brilliant teachers there that
it's a shame
are amazing. Like Guy Stevenson is fantastic.
My alcohol bottle's been sitting here the whole time. I'm so sorry. I'm just really clean, okay?
That's okay. So from there, like 2 weeks later, I was at Second City, and my first teacher there, her name's Eileen Monteleone, and she like immediately scooped me up like a wounded bird and healed me.
She's so
and now she's like she's a good friend of mine. I love her. And all the teachers that I had at Second City as I was going through conservatory, but it's such a warm environment compared to Groundlings. I'm on a house team, a house sketch team, and we do a show every month. We're called Super Delicate. We meet once a week for 2 hours, and we basically write our sketches at home. We bring them in, we read through them, we get notes from our director. It made me appreciate the process of writing and to not get married to something that I've just thrown on the page, to not be offended if someone gives me a note or gives me another idea.
I got to do Farrago many years back, Scary as Hell, with Tim Williams and Mike Marinaccio, Megan White.
Yeah.
Dawn Fowler. She's so good.
That's an amazing cast.
And we threw it up there. I was so intimidated, I didn't know what I was doing, but we just would go with scenes until they became something, and then we would chisel. And then we did Skits and Giggles, which I loved, with Urbanski and Damon and Siniscalco and Cass. And I watch it now and it holds up so well still. I think it's funny as shit. We all worked so well together. It just jived. And it's just a beautiful feeling to have that.
With the quarantine, I've been working on a couple video things, and I realized it's going to be a lot easier for me to get an audience on the internet.
Well, yeah. I think the one key to it is that you need to have, it's not something that you can just record and then show people, because you can do that anyway. I mean, yeah, I'm doing that right now, but whatever. People can come and go as they please here. I'm not trying to force anything, and I don't need anything for this. To hear the audience laughing or crying or seeing that, we need that response, even if it has to be like this, I think. And so your advice to people that are, I would say, going out to LA, what they should be ready for. Maybe just have them watch Mulholland Drive by David Lynch, right? So what would be your advice for that?
I would say, thick skin for sure. Plan financially, and there's all the don't be an asshole. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. That goes with be kind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just, I think affirmations are important. Because I'm pretty sure everybody talks negatively to themselves at some point in their life to varying degrees. But if we spent as much time talking good to ourselves, like if the negative talk works so well, so can the good. So you just got to love yourself.
Yeah. Love you.
I love you. Wait, was my advice good?